Hey y'all, we are back with another dense update. This update is sponsored by Biomax Peptides and Herd Athletics. Here we go. A lot of content being pushed out this weekend, pretty much everything surrounding the Will Morad Friend League Tour Stop 2 in Mesa, Arizona. Let's just go ahead and dive right into all of that. Now, Colton Mertens sat down with Sevan on this YouTube channel to catch up before the event started. He talked about how his body was feeling after the CrossFit Games, saying that he really didn't feel that beat up. He actually felt really good going into this. They talk about a lot of random things, actually. Sevan asked him this question.
Colton, when's the last time you threw away a pair of underwear?
Why you ask me that?
Because last night, was it at the games? Did you shit your pants at the games? I didn't even think of that.
And then that led into probably one of the funniest stories I've ever heard.
On the way back from NorCal, I had an accident. I had to throw away my underwear, my Vindicate shorts, my socks, everything. So Allie and I's our flight.
Your sock is gonna be good.
WFP obviously pumping out a ton of content leading up to the event. They put out this reel. The guys had a little bit of fun with this one, and honestly, if you saw it yourself, you got to be thinking when you see James's pants, for instance, is it dove season?
What's up with everybody in these this hunting camo short pants?
That's like camo.
That's camo. That's camo for sure. Yeah, that's like woodland camo.
Yeah, I got camo sweats.
Yep, Amy Kringle and Lucy Campbell. Yep, looking clean, nice and tight.
Oh, my fucking God.
Is this?
Oh, you guys just hate Danielle Brandon. You guys are just haters. No, dude. My dad wore that cutting the grass. That's what my fucking dad wore when he said, "Hey, give me a fucking beer."
She's wearing clothes that Gooch could wear. I mean, they were probably even too big for him.
With a Yeti bag.
That's really cute.
Very nice. Classy.
The fashion choices are quite interesting. My personal favorite is Emily Ruthwell.
Oh, with the
What?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fuck.
Yes. Ruthwell
Hey,
if I was a cartoon character, my eyes would pop out of my head and make that
Ooga.
Yeah, yes. Damn.
Now, the event kicked off on Friday morning, first event being the 2-mile run.
If you're hurting for ticket sales, if you're trying to get spectators on site, 6 miles of running and 3,000 meters on the row might not be it.
I mean, you don't hear him saying that about this event, but that's completely different. You know, World Fitness Project is his employer. Now, there were a few surprises for me with that first event. Laura Horvath finishing third, which I think is pretty good for her. I was surprised to see Danielle Brandon in 15th place, considering she's a former track athlete. She's always really good in the running events. So not really sure what happened there. I expected her to finish in the top 5 to 10 at least. And then it was reported in a press release that Maddie Sturt withdrew after event 1. So it is still unclear as to whether it was a heat-related incident or she had sustained an injury, maybe her hamstring, ankle, not really sure. Didn't see anything on her Instagram either. And then the second event of the day, also kind of just blah to watch. However, Colton Mertens with an insane performance on that workout. He did all 5 rounds of 20 strict handstand push-ups without coming off the wall. The first 4 rounds, fast, unbroken, and it wasn't until that 5th round, and I think around rep 12 or 13, that he paused at the bottom. Didn't even come off the wall, went down into the bottom, paused a second, knocked out a few more reps, paused again on the wall, knocked out a few more reps, and then finished the event. He beat everybody by almost 2 minutes. And I think we all kind of knew on paper that that was going to be a great event for him, but that was incredible. Also, the first day had its fair share of graphics mistakes. People following along were quick to catch this and send me screenshots. This one here of Nico Bedone, they have his name as Pete Smith. Is there even a Pete Smith competing at all in the competition? I have to check the Challenger leaderboard. And then in one of the behind the scenes, CJ Gerald is 2 people, not just one. I'd actually posted this to my Instagram, and Patrick Clark of Be Friendly, he commented and he said, no, he isn't. He's in charge of the Pulse. There is a production company that was hired that does the graphics. So I guess Brian got demoted from Tour Stop 1. They had to hire an outside production company for that. He said he wasn't in charge of graphics, but I did see in the first episode of Behind the Scenes for World Fitness Project this clip.
You are making graphics for the Challenger scenarios for the race for Copenhagen this weekend, because it's sort of the critical storyline.
So, I mean, you can see why people would be confused, right? On the post show that evening with Colton Mertens, they talk about his heat win and overall win. He did an interview right after, and he drops an F-bomb. And then the announcer goes on to apologize for Colton.
Because you cursed on the live stream or what?
That was crazy, dude.
Oh,
Did you get yelled at? Did you get in trouble for that?
No, nobody said anything to me. They didn't tell me I can't swear either.
Wow.
Dude, it was crazy. You did everything perfect. Thanked all the right people. And then soon, do you know this? Have you heard this yet, Colton?
I saw Hiller's post on it. That's how I found out.
Oh man, I must have received like 10 texts. They're like, "What is this fucking bitch from Australia saying?" He said it like he was the evening local news.
Lots of complaints about the website viewing. For me, Friday I spent a lot of time in my car and the sound on my phone was not good. Even when I plugged it into Bluetooth in the car, the audio was just not great from the website. It's also really dark, so it's hard to see a lot of things. One piece of feedback they didn't take from Tour 1. We cannot reiterate enough that not streaming this on YouTube is a complete miss. And that was just day 1. Now, day 2 events were a little bit more exciting, I would say. However, it's all fun and games until your GHD machine falls apart. I was watching live, and when this happened, I gasped a little bit.
Hatfield the last onto the GHD. Troubles on the leaderboard coming.
I mean, depending on where that metal rod ended up, that could be a really bad day for Austin. And I did see him just standing around kind of holding the inside of his leg while the event was still going on. Austin didn't complete the rest of the workout, which means he didn't do 28 of the weighted GHDs and he didn't do any of the final bike cows. And there is some controversy surrounding that and how they determined what his score would be.
I wonder why Hatfield didn't go over and just start using the GHD that was next to him, because he did kind of limp off like he nailed some piece of metal landed on his chode.
Because he knew if he didn't do anything, they'd give him a time that was way faster than what he actually would have done in the workout.
They gave him a score of 653, and essentially they said they just gave him the option of having an overall placement from where he was at the time of that incident. They averaged out the time it took on the GHDs and the time it took on the bike cows. So although he got to the GHD machine after Noah Olsen, I think he was the last one in his heat to get to the GHDs, he still beat Noah Olsen in that workout. They put out press releases. They were really good to communicate these things in real time, so I will give them that. Also on day 2, 2 more athletes withdrew from the competition, Jamie Simmons and Alexis Raptis. In those press releases, again, no reason given, so we don't really know, and I didn't see anything on IG. Day 2 really wasn't a great day for Austin. On the next event, 4A, he's going off of what Guy did in the previous heat. And then Austin finished at 4:22. So as the event ends, he thinks he won the event. Then he finds out later that Guy in fact hit 4:30. Nobody really doing post-day interviews. The only feedback we could get from athletes was Colton. He talked about the mood in the back with all of the athletes.
Like, definitely doesn't feel like the games, but it also doesn't feel like a semifinal or like a crash or like a Rogue or NorCal either. It's just
how so? How's it different?
I don't know if everybody else feels this way, but it's a little bit difficult to like get your adrenaline going for the events. It just, I don't know. It really just doesn't feel like it means as much.
And then he also talked about upcoming events for the final day, and Pro 5 workout has weighted double unders in it. And he talked about the jump ropes that were issued to the athletes for that.
These jump ropes are, so like me and Jack Farlow are using the same jump rope
Wow.
because they don't have smaller ones.
What?
Oh my god.
Are you fucking kidding me?
What are the jump ropes? What are
What
they?
the fuck are these fucking people thinking,
Dude, how is Morad supposed to go on all these vacations if they spend all these money on jump ropes, though?
I mean, to me, that's a little bit of an unfair advantage. They didn't really think that one through to be able to size these ropes appropriately for everybody. And then there was another scoring mishap. Emma Tall in workout 4B. She was no repped on her farmer carry lunges, and she appealed that score, and they gave her back 18 seconds. Now, day 3 started off with another withdrawal. Victor Hoffer said in a post interview of event 5 that and then on that same event, Pro 5, another equipment malfunction, this time with the Concept 2 bike. Ricky Garrard had not one but two, it appears. In round 4, you can see him getting on the bike and start pedaling, and he's looking at the screen, and I guess the screen isn't working, and he's looking behind him to like try to get help, but you don't see anybody come over. And then on the final round, he goes to get on his bike and the pedals are just locked up and it's not pedaling. And so he loses about 30 seconds on that event. Of course, they bring out another bike. He gets on, he finishes, and then he makes the appeal and they give him that 30 seconds back. But man, this is just not a good look when you have that many equipment issues throughout the weekend. Andrew Hiller posted that in the first documentary, they do point out that their C-suite level people are the ones putting together these machines, which... Now, Dallin Pepper fought his way back after a tough day 1, so that was really impressive. James Sprague made the podium yet again. If there are people out there still doubting him and still talking about his credibility as an athlete, y'all just need to stop. Roman being your overall winner of Tour Stop 2, he's definitely going to be in the mix for Rogue and the finals this year if he decides to go. And then when you look at the women's leaderboard, not really surprised with 1 and 2, seeing as they haven't done anything all year. Aside from the first World Fitness Project event, they didn't have to do the Open, they didn't have to do semifinals. Online semifinals, they didn't have to compete at the games. I think the biggest surprise and most impressive thing is Amy Kringle, finishing in 3rd on the podium after just having done the games.
My best chance probably of taking out one of these folks who is probably just straight up better than me at this point in time is going to be right now. And I think that's, you know, what prompted, again, the move to come here to be like, there is an opportunity for us because everyone is good, but like, surely they can't be that much better. And then
Yeah.
you put
That didn't age well. 10 CrossFit Games athletes beat Chandler Smith here. This is the second event. They had major equipment malfunctions.
I did the first round. I got back, did my sprint start and settled in my pace, and it said 12:50. I was like, okay, something's wrong with this bike.
That's not going to do it.
No. And like the bike was like a little grindy.
Yeah.
Like it just felt off.
Injuries, withdrawals, granting appeals left and right.
I was mad about that.
What happened?
His computer, his screen went off, and I beat him to the bike by like 5 seconds, and I beat him off the bike, but they gave him 12 seconds. So they said, I was like, okay, no chance. This guy beats me off the bike by 12 seconds. When I get on before him.
The finals is going to have way more logistics involved with it. They're going to have more people, more divisions. If the people show up, more volunteers will be needed, more staff who know how to put together equipment properly. Are they going to keep awarding appeals unfairly?
Before the final, Jason's behind me, Ricky's in front of me, and Jason's like, I hope my straps on the rings break.
That's how gone I was, yeah.
Will the head judge actually have read the movement standards and the flow of the workouts so they can answer questions when the athletes have them? Because I heard that wasn't happening. With this high-level new production team, they still can't get the graphics right. Are they going to interview winners? Are they going to interview heat winners who have earned that interview? The people in the comment sections, oh, let's just give it a chance, see how it plays out. I think we've done that. The World Fitness Project set themselves up for this disaster. They came out hot on the scene. They made all these promises about how amazing the events were going to be, the stories that they were going to tell, how they were going to do things better, they were going to make it more fun, all of this stuff. To me, they've just proved they bit off way more than they could chew with this season.
That dense bitch,